There are many games out there that are unknown and receive very little attention. A few are hidden gems, others serve as cautionary tales, and some are just plain interesting. In this video, I will be showing you 6 of these obscure games, all of which have 0 concurrent players according to Steam charts. For each one, we'll first take a look at their Steam page, then you'll see some footage of me playing, and finally, I'll give you my thoughts on the game. This game is Dreamworld, not to be confused with the MMO of the same name. This seems to be a 2D platformer. It has very little attention, it seems, only has 2 reviews, and has released about 2 years ago. It has this cartoonish or maybe like children's book kind of aesthetic, so I think that's kind of cool. The game is free, so we're just gonna play the full game and we'll see what we think. What the hell? So the orbs transform into these little girls, I guess. Touch S to skip the to tow. Okay, V use capacity. I think that's just to attack. This is not a good tutorial, by the way. Okay, the menu. This is pretty cool. So we're on the status screen. Oh, here we go. Okay, it'll tell us the different abilities. How do I go? Oh, here we go, here we go. Shoot an arrow. Okay. I don't think digging or changing water is going to help us, so we'll just jump. That didn't work. What the fuck? And why does it keep zooming in at random times? Oh wait, change the flow of water. Hold on, hold on. Okay, that's kind of cool. Oh shit. This is reminding me of Mad Frost. The platforming. Go! Okay, okay. Let's try this now. No, that's not right. Alright, that's pretty cool. Oh wait, is this a collectible? Yes, okay, we picked that up. Doesn't it look like she's running in slow motion? Oh shit. You have to... Okay, alright. Thank goodness. Oh no, another puzzle. What am I supposed to do? Maybe we dig over here? Hey, that was right. Okay, so we could press little buttons. Okay. This guy doesn't look like he matches the art style of the rest of the stuff. I can't move. We're just being transported. Alright. Thanks, buddy. Alright, so I'm guessing that was just the little tutorial stage. So I stopped this right here. That was kind of weird though that they just showed the title with no context. Okay, so there's sliding. See if there's a warp thing. What is this? Let's see, do we have to be the right color? Avem, the girl who dreamed to fly like a bird. Oh, wait, we're a different character. It's a little too zoomed in if you ask me. Alright, no, we're not a different character. Access the inventory. I don't have anything in my inventory. This cabin is unfinished. I built it to welcome the bird that comes frequently in the garden, but alas, I couldn't finish it. Will you help me? Okay, I guess we gotta dig here. I mean, we got some weird mechanics. Shooting an arrow makes sense. And I like the flow of the water, but one of our characters just digs. Okay, we got some kind of collectible. I guess that's what we have to use the inventory for. Okay. Aha, the little bird. Alright. Hey, they're swimming. That's pretty cool. Okay. That's very jarring. That is like a common problem when designing games where... Hold on, wait. How do I... No, come on, I have to use this somewhere. But anyway, staircases. Kind of difficult. So I understand why it's kind of weird there, but could have done it a little better. Like if they just kept the graphic the same but made it a slope behind the scenes, the character would move smoothly up it, but it just kind of jerks up, you know? Alright, so this is kind of interesting. I like how my character's sliding. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. They're kind of telling the story environmentally because we just saw the harp earlier in the house. Then the kid with the bird mask was playing the harp. Then when we warped, now the wheelchair's here, but there's no kid and no harp. So some kind of accident might have taken place. You have to build a cabin, so I don't know how to use items though. I'm clicking, maybe we click I on these? That didn't work. I clicked enter as well. Ah, okay. Alright, finally. Alright. So we got something going here. I guess we just gotta follow the bird. Here we go. Alright. Oh shit, we fucking found what we fucking missed. I don't know if that was there before. Whoa, what the fuck? Where'd it go? That was gonna float, bro. Okay, interesting water physics. Oh, I thought it was gonna float and we had to collect it. What the fuck? Where'd it go? Nah, come on, bro. Okay, this stopped. Is that supposed to happen? Maybe it's a graphical error. Nah, it had to be something with the apple. Why? It went all the way down. Hold on. Let me quit and reload. Do we have to catch it? Hold on. This has to be something. Nah, you can't catch that. That's as fast as possible. Holy shit, okay, we found something new. I do like the climbing up animation, but... Well, here we go. Alright, now we're making some progress. We should be able to cut down that thing. Let's see. Yeah, this, right? Come on, this has to work. Oh, finally we successfully used an item. Alright, so now we pick that up. Now maybe we could combine this. Come on, this has to work. Or maybe we combine it with the glue. We gotta get the glue. Alright, yeah, that didn't work. Oh, there we go. Cabin head. Alright, here we go. Spacious and comfortable, this cabin head for bird will delight these birds. Yes, it will. No, it doesn't work. Fuck. Okay, we don't put that there yet. Nah, I can't do that. I feel like we need the apple for this. Oh wait, it worked that time. Why did it work then? Okay. Oh my goodness. No. No. Don't tell me we're stuck again. Hardest game of all time. It'd be interesting if like we shot down the apple, but then the arrow caused it to sink. That's why we need to do this like water bending thing to bring the apple back to the surface. But no, that didn't work. Can't do anything with this boat really, just stand on it. Alright, honestly I think I gave this game quite a bit of patience. I reset it before and we made some more progress, but we're stumped here. I don't think this bird's gonna get to eat anytime soon. Whoa, what the fuck? Hold on, before we shut it down, did you see that? I don't know, was that like a graphical glitch? The water came up for some reason. Alright, I'm going to investigate the water. That was probably just a glitch, I gotta be honest with you. Not a hint or anything like that. Nope, doesn't look like anything's here. That's it, that's all we're seeing of Dreamworld. I personally like the style this game was going for, and I think it has a mostly good execution of its aesthetic. One problem that I have is that animations seem choppy. They just seem like they are missing a few frames, and it doesn't look good. It makes me wonder if the original animations the developer made looked a little too fast, so they stretched them out to make them slower, without filling them in with additional poses, but that's just the impression it gives me. Despite that issue, I do think that the sprites are well drawn. One more obvious issue with the visuals is this terrible zooming in that the game does when you approach certain places. I really do not like this, it feels uncomfortably close. Maybe this would make more sense if the game was in a windowed mode, making everything appear smaller, but this game is always full screen, there's no windowed option. Either way, I think this frequent zooming in and out is unnecessary and obviously harms the gameplay since you see much less of your surroundings. There's just no point to it. Although I largely do not like the puzzle design, there's one thing I want to compliment here, which is that the different abilities are not used for the same function every time. The digging seems to be the least interesting or creative, it just moves dirt or presses buttons. But the water and arrow abilities interact with a variety of interesting things in the environment. Some are obvious, like a hanging apple needing to be shot down, while others are less obvious but still make sense, like needing to shoot this door since it's out of reach. Also, speaking of the 3 abilities, I think that having to manually transform into one of the 3 characters in order to use their ability is unnecessary and tedious. The game already has a system where you automatically transform into Akari when falling into water, and I think a similar thing should have also applied to the abilities. So all of the abilities should have had different buttons dedicated to them, and when you click the dig button, for example, you will automatically transform into Ran and start digging. When you click the shoot button, you automatically transform into Abisa and fire an arrow, and so on. My next critique is about the translation, which isn't that good. It wasn't too much of an issue, but was a little confusing at times, like when a birdhouse is referred to as a cabin. Lastly, I just want to touch on the sound design, which I thought was okay. The few sound effects that are in the game are good. I particularly appreciate how you can hear the flowing water when you get close to the fountain. But I really think there should have been sound effects for the player. It feels strange that many of your actions cause no sound at all. There probably should have been a sound effect for when the player transforms, and for each ability. As it is now, the game kind of reminds me of a silent movie, with the music being prominent while actions and speech are not represented with any audio component, only visuals. Alright, with all of that said, I honestly wish I could have seen more of this game, but at the same time, I also think I was more than patient and pushed through way too many quit moments. Okay, that's roughly how I would have ended off this section, but I couldn't let it go. I had to give Dreamworld its due. I had to at least complete this level. I tried playing the demo to see if anything was different there. It wasn't, besides that it cut out the tutorial area. Then I tried looking through the Steam page. There's not much to see in the discussion section or anything like that, but when I was looking through these images, I already tried using the water ability on the boat, but maybe I just wasn't in the right spot. So I went back into Dreamworld. Then I raged at how you can't skip this dialogue, and then tried interacting with the boat. Alright, as you can see, that worked and allowed me to get that enigmatic apple. With that in my inventory, I could now interact with the blender and get the feed item. After collecting the rest of the items in the level and combining them, I ended up with the full feeder and cabin, which you might think you have to combine, but no. For some reason, you have to place them here separately. After that, nothing happened, so I guessed that you have to get the bird to move, which was correct. Because of this though, I triggered the end of this level from this location, which is obviously not the correct spot since the dialogue is cut off, and we're slowly moving down this incline. Either way, I was very glad to have finally completed this level. After this, we are warped to this shrine type location and are given a new ability. Unfortunately, it's just a kick. I've seen this a few times in games where you finally unlock something, but it's just totally mundane, even if it has a useful function. Obviously, this type of thing can feel underwhelming to the player. Anyway, after that there's this intermediary stage with some cool puzzles and interactions. Once you reach the end, you are warped to what seems to be the second major level of the game. I played this for just a few minutes, but stopped when I got stuck. Looking over this footage and making this part of the video has rekindled my curiosity about this game. What happens in this game's story? Does this game have any messages or themes that the developer tried to communicate? What kind of interesting puzzles or encounters exist later in the game? Maybe this game meant something special to its creator. Dreamworld is free on Steam, so give it a shot if it intrigues you. I myself am thinking of returning to this game someday soon and making a video about it. In short, what I like about this game is the 3D platforming, and I also do like the in-game art style. I think it looks pretty cool, it looks pretty retro. This came out in 2017, so this kind of looked like 3D platformers from a little bit before that time. But anyway, side note, the name of this game and this character, I would say Sorgina, but I don't think it's pronounced that way. It says right here that this is based on Basque mythology, in that there's a word for witches, which is very similar to this character's name, and it's pronounced like this.
Sorgina.
So I'm guessing her name is more something like Sorgina than Sorgina, but anyway, beyond the name. The thing is, I like 3D platformers. This one says that it is aimed at younger players, so I don't know if this is going to be too simple, but it does say over here that there are different achievements if you want a greater challenge. Speaking of the achievements, this doesn't seem that good. Only over 7%, but under 8% of people completed level 1, so I know these percentages of course don't tell the whole story, but either way I don't think that's a good sign. I kind of like the music. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a scary version of like Banjo and Kazooie or something. So it does have like a childish aspect to it, or something made for children, you know what I mean? But anyway, I think this is kind of cool. It has like little lore that we could read right from the menu screen, but the thing is, this is not too readable, as you can see. As the legend goes, since time immemorial, Mari, the Lady of Anboto. Okay, hold on, I just watched the opening cutscene. Hold on, let's see what happens here, and I'll give you a brief rundown of what happened. It was pretty cool, I liked it. The art style is growing on me, but the thing is, now that we switched from that to this, it is a little jarring because they're so different, the art styles. I like this in-game one though. Alright, we're sleeping? Where am I? Hey, I didn't click anything. I hate when games do that. I'm trying to read that text. Look at this. Look, she's cute. Okay, anyway. Alright, so I'm getting used to the controls here. Oh, we got a timer up there. Alright, anyway. This is something weird because you use the mouse to change the camera, right? And you use WASD to move around. But the thing is, now I'll go over here and it wants me to use the enter key. So I have to take my hand off the mouse and then interact with this, so that kind of sucks. She never leaves her dinner half finished. What happened here? What? What? Who? Dinner? What the fuck? Where is his owner? She would not just leave him here. Alright, I guess we got one collectible in this level. But anyway, so the story seemed kind of interesting. It was like there was this powerful guy who harnessed the power of an eclipse. Witches were able to, you know, seal that guy away. And then they had this ritual every year where they basically maintain the spell of peace, whatever, right, to keep that guy away. But then one year, for some reason, it messes up and all the witches are cursed except for this little girl. But I don't know, we just woke up in a bed here, so maybe we woke up a little bit before that story ends, but we'll see. Hold on. One minor thing, doesn't this not sound like a little girl voice? You know? So it makes me wonder, did they use a stock sound or something? I don't know. Also, that's kind of interesting. We got a changing picture there. Alright, take a look at this. Yes, of course. I just plugged in my controller. It didn't say it had controller support on the Steam page, but it seems like it does. Because I saw that in the menu, so... I don't know, now I'm doing this. Okay. Nice, it changed the buttons. That's a good sign. And they have that thing where if your character's too close, they will kind of fade out. That's pretty good. I don't know what happens if we fall in the water, but let's not do that. Alright, we got some 3D platform. Okay. Alright. I like that we got an evil laugh there, but... Anyway, 3D platforming is not bad. The controls do feel a little stiff. I feel like... Yeah, you can't move diagonally, that's the thing. Now that I think about it, don't look how I was spending 9 minutes here, but it's because I was trying out the controller, okay? But anyway, that's probably what it is. So it's like, if you want to push yourself, right, for an extra challenge, you could probably get achievements for beating levels quickly. Something like that. Da, da. And I've been listening to this song for a little while, and it hasn't got annoying, so that's good. It's pretty good, the music. Okay, let's see. Hello. Yeah, look at this. I think the 3D models look much better than the drawings. My lady, what happened? My memories are blurry. What the hell? Yo. Wow, that's kind of interesting. If every character sounds like kind of an instrument. Yeah, she's like a little flute or something. Alright. This game has some interesting polish. It's got some interesting touches, you know? Alright, so the little tutorial... Wait, how do we go back? Oh, this might be the puzzle. So, hold on, let's try this. So I have shrink and, like, enlarge spells. Oh shit. Wait, how do you... It said they'll have, like, an aura. Alright, hold on, let me figure this out. Oh, here we go. Let's see what this one does. So red is shrink. Hold on. Let's try this. What the hell? Alright. This is kind of cool. Oh, so that has like, see how it's alternating green and red? Okay, so we could both shrink and enlarge that one. It's kind of interesting. I do like this as well though, like look at the effect. It's pretty cool how it actually travels. Nice particle effects. Alright, that was pretty cool. Okay, so I might have found the reason why so little people completed the first level. There's this dark room here, and I was just in here, but it seemed like I was stuck. So I restarted the whole level, and now I'm back here, so let's see if it works now. So I just shrunk this wall, and what I think you have to do is now make it bigger. So, but the thing is, it's so dark in here. Hold on, can we make it brighter? No, there's no display or anything. Alright. The thing is, it's nice that you can light up stuff with your particle effects. See, it lights it up. That's nice. I like the interaction of the light, but it's just too dark in here. We barely see anything. But hold on. Let's see. Can we make this bigger? No, see, it has the sound effect, but it doesn't do anything. I'm thinking you have to make it bigger, and then, like, walk on top of that. You see that? And then, go around, because there's this ledge here. You can't go over this. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Alright, so I just missed this before. Because I saw there's one you can interact with back there. Okay. Hold on. We didn't get stuck. Here it is. Okay. Alright, we're skipping all the collectibles now. Okay, this shrinking and getting larger mechanic is growing old. The thing is, though, I feel like this could be really fun to try to be as fast as possible. Like, I could see the little optimizations. That could be really cool. Alright, come on, let's make some progress in this area. Oh my goodness, I don't want to shrink this. I don't want to. Okay, here we go. What is this? Who's this guy? I do like that. That's kind of cool. With the music. Alright, you're safe, thank goodness. This guy's locked up, what do you mean? This guy looks like a prisoner. That was the first level, okay. I could imagine people raging at that level. The thing is, it's kind of weird. I don't know if it's weird, but you have to, like, have the reticle on the object, and then it has to glow in order for you to realize that it's interactable. Maybe another visual cue would have been better, because then I could have, like, before I had the reticle on it, I could have seen, you know what I mean? Because I just have to move the reticle all around the room in order to find what I can interact with. So I thought at the end of the level or something it would say, alright, decrease your time to under a minute and you'll get an achievement. But it didn't say anything like that, it just put us into the next level, so maybe that's like a hidden thing. You just have to do it. Who dares approach my dwelling? Okay, wait, what? That's cool. What do I do now? Alright, she looks a little menacing doing that, but okay. Oh, wait, alright. As we read from the Steam page, this game is aimed at a younger audience, but I feel like the quality of the level design and puzzle design prevent this game from appealing to that audience, at least to some degree. To show you what I mean, I'll tell you the issues I had with each level. In level 1 you unlock the shrink and grow abilities. The execution of this mechanic is serviceable. It's simple but works. The main issue I have with it is that there is no immediate and obvious distinction between objects that can have their size changed and objects that can't. In order to find this out, the player has to aim the camera at an object and see if it has this red or green aura or not. This holds true for the rest of the levels, so this critique could apply to the whole game. But one flaw I thought this specific level had is this room. The lack of light here makes it hard to see, and because I didn't notice this interactable object in the darkness, I was stuck here for a little while. That's not to say limiting visibility itself is inherently bad or anything like that. The issue here is that it serves no purpose. I could easily see darkness being a cool mechanic in this game. Imagine if later, after unlocking the move spell, there was a maze shrouded in darkness, and the player had to use the move ability in order to keep a lamp or other light source with them. That sounds like it would be pretty cool, especially if the player had to figure out that kind of solution on their own. Level 2 had a few specific issues. First of all, I believe it's way too vast, particularly this section with what the game calls overlooks. There are 4 overlooks in this open area. What you have to do is stand inside each one, which will give you this first-person perspective mode, and you'll have to solve a puzzle where you need to align these image fragments by changing their size. The problem with this is not only do you not have to interact with perspective, which might have been pretty cool, but also that all 4 of these puzzles have the same solution. All you have to do is increase the size of every component once, which makes these more like chores or busy work than engaging puzzles that you actually need to think through. A simple fix for these issues would be to make the area smaller, thereby making the outlook locations more obvious, but also make the puzzles more complex. I would think a change like this would make the level more enjoyable, since there will be less of a focus on finding the puzzles and more of a focus on solving the puzzles. The main issue I have with the 3rd level is this set of rooms. Your path is blocked by this statue. In the previous rooms, there are many other statues that can be shrunken or enlarged. On the walls of these rooms are various icons of different shapes and colors. To solve this, you just need to make the statues with the green icons near them larger, and make the ones with red icons near them smaller. I do like that you have to pay attention to details in the environment, but what I don't like here is that the different shapes of the icons are a red herring. Because of this, the solution here might feel dumbed down or needlessly misleading to the player. Level 4 is the final level I played. The puzzle here seems pretty strange to me. Scattered around this area are all these movable totems. A hint is given by this plaque saying, if the heart of the area you want to reach, even to stones and totems, harmony you must preach. By the way, you can't check that hint twice. Once you read it once, the interaction goes away, so good luck remembering that. Also, there's this mermaid who gives you the freeze spell, which seems to be used to stop moving objects. I explored the area but didn't find anything else besides a lot of statues. I stopped playing here and did not complete this level. I felt that I wasn't given enough information to figure this one out without a lot of trial and error, and I just did not want to keep playing this game. For curiosity's sake, I checked if anyone had made a walkthrough for this game, and surprisingly someone called Father has a complete playthrough all in one video. According to Father's footage, the solution to this puzzle is to take every single statue in the level and stack them according to their color, and then freeze these 4 surrounding rocks. Right, that totally follows from this hint. Alright, so those were the levels I saw, and so far I have touched upon some issues I had with the game as a whole. Now let me discuss the other things that I did not get a chance to mention yet. In each level there are 25 of these collectibles. These seem to have no use and are not contextualized within the game, except for the lore info from the title screen. Similarly, there is no extrinsic motivation associated with the timer. I personally think there should have been a time to aim for or something like that, maybe just as an achievement for beating levels quickly. Speaking of speed, the movement is simple, but still feels good for the most part. There is this weird thing with jumping long distances where your forward movement is stopped after falling a certain direction. This feels like an artificial limitation and should not be here at all, but it isn't that big of an issue. Other miscellaneous things like music, sound effects, and visuals were all okay. One potential issue I noticed was that the main character looks like she's in a different art style than the other NPCs, which might be due to how her eyes are much different and larger than the other characters, but that might just be my perception, I'm not sure. If this game was free or cost a low amount like 99 cents, then I probably would have played it to completion, but my curiosity is not enough to justify a price tag of $9.99. It goes without saying that I would not recommend this game. Even the ocean describes itself as a physics-shifting puzzle platformer. That right there sounds pretty interesting to me. The thing that really made me want to try this game though is this review. This person says that this game is very ambitious and some of the things it tries to do, it fails in the execution, but I feel like even if that's the case, it could be really interesting to see what the devs were trying to do, and maybe some of the stuff they tried to execute on really works well, so we don't know. One thing that particularly interests me is this, a quasi-open world. And that's not something you expect to see, at least it's not something I expect to see, in a 2D platformer. There is a lot to talk about with this game, so instead of showing you my first impressions, I'm going right into my thoughts on the game. I want to focus on the gameplay, player choice, visuals, and stuff like that. I won't be really discussing the plot, but I will briefly mention it from time to time for context's sake. Our main character Aleph is an engineer for Whiteforge, a technologically advanced city which relies on its many power plants. The game starts at one of these power plant locations, which is both the first level and platforming tutorial. In short, the gameplay loop looks like this. Fix a power plant, travel across the overworld back to Whiteforge, explore the city and talk to NPCs if you want, go to your home to sleep, travel across the overworld to another power plant, and repeat the process. Let's examine each part of this loop, starting with the power plant levels. As I alluded to, these areas are the platforming sections of the game. Even the ocean has the basic platforming things you would expect, like running, jumping, and wall jumping, but also adds two new elements to this formula, Aleph's shield and the energy alignment system. The shield will change direction based on your directional input and can be used to block projectiles and even assist in some platforming. If you hold down the interaction button, the shield will stay fixed in whatever direction you're holding it, even if your directional input changes. This is probably the best mechanic in the game. By the way, there's one level that forces you to pass through gates that fix the shield's direction, which I thought was a cool way to put a twist on this mechanic. As I mentioned, the other gameplay addition is what I'm calling energy alignment. Basically, interacting with certain objects will either shift your alignment towards green energy, which impacts vertical movement, or towards purple energy, which is related to horizontal movement. The more green energy you have, the higher your jumps will be, but you'll be slower moving left or right. The more purple energy you have, the faster you'll be, but you'll also jump lower. If your energy becomes totally green or totally purple, you'll die and have to restart at your last save point. This idea sounds like it could be really deep gameplay wise, and when I first started the game, I was impressed that this was the game's successor to a health system. The problem is, I very rarely had to get a particular alignment in order to complete a platforming challenge. In other words, for most of the game, I was treating this as a health bar. There was no reason to concern myself with what my alignment was, other than making sure it didn't fill to either side. This combined with the usual lack of challenge, meant that for a majority of the game, I was speeding through rooms and puzzles I have never seen before. Keep in mind I said for a majority of the game, there were some pockets of challenge to be found. Most of these parts were towards the end, and they were really fun and engaging. The final level was my favorite part of the game. One last thing about the platforming that I have to point out is the variety of obstacles and puzzle elements that gradually get introduced throughout the game. Besides the small plants, circular bullets, and energy fields you find in the beginning stage, there are lasers that follow you as you move, bouncy plants, bullets you can deflect with the shield, ghost things that try to rush you, and more. Alright, so when you finish restoring a power plant, you're booted out to the overworld. Your objective now is to head back to the city, but you can explore the rest of the continent if you wish. Initially I did think this was cool and went exploring, but this overworld is mostly a waste of time in my opinion. There are very few NPCs or objects to interact with, and there's no open aspect to the narrative or world. Yes, you can walk over to any area you like, but you can only complete one power plant per day. In short, there is nothing meaningful you can do with the overworld. You just use it to walk to a level and then walk back home. The game is extremely linear, except for the fact that you can choose which order to complete certain levels in. Basically, levels are available to you in groups of 3, and you can choose which in each batch you complete, first, second, and third, but there is no meaningful difference. As I said, it is only a matter of order. Because there is nothing to see or do in the overworld besides read some flavor text, I really do think it should have been replaced with a level select screen. It's sad to say that because towards the end of the game, the devs actually used the overworld for something interesting. You have to find 3 bunkers using only these very zoomed in pictures as references. This was really cool, and I wish there was more stuff like this throughout the game. Okay, so you trudge back to Whiteforge, and now you can explore the city at your leisure. Some areas are inaccessible to you at the start of the game, but you do unlock them over time. There is a good variety to the places you can visit. There's a junkyard area where you can practice some platforming, a museum, a library, a shop where you can buy breakfast, among a few others. This is a nice idea because theoretically, the player can talk to and connect with the people they are working towards saving throughout the game. Unfortunately, much like the overworld, this is executed poorly. There are many things to do in the city. Sadly though, these all have very little consequences. Donate the largest amount possible to the library, nothing changes. Visit the museum on different days to eavesdrop, get the same conversation every time. Choose different options at the shop to see what happens, nothing besides a change in flavor text. Complete the bird minigame like 5 times. This guy gives you a candy every time you complete it, but the candy has no effect. This all just feels so unnecessary. Why can I interact with these things if they don't change anything? Very disappointing. The next step in the gameplay loop is to go to your home to rest until the next day. The issue I have with this is there's no justification for it. It's just the dev's way of forcing you to come back and explore the city a little bit. It would have been much better in my opinion if I could head to one level right after the other and return to Whiteforge more periodically. After this, of course you would walk over to the next level and repeat the gameplay loop. Now let me mention a couple of miscellaneous things. First of all, I think the art in the game is very good, but I do think that during the cutscenes, the style of the big image we're seeing and the style of the character portraits clash with each other because one is more blurry while the other one is crisp. Also, one very nice inclusion was that when you go to start a new game, there are different game modes. Of course, I wanted to experience the whole game, so I played the regular mode that includes everything, but you can choose to only do the platforming sections or skip over the platforming sections, depending on what mode you pick, and I thought this was a very nice inclusion. I've never seen anything like this in any other game. To sum my opinions up, I would say that this game is very, very bloated. My playthrough took about 8 hours, and for a majority of that time, I was wondering when it would finally come to an end. Keep in mind that a waste of the player's time is also a waste of the developer's time. If the game was smaller, let's say if the overworld was cut, then I think the devs would have had more time to make the interactions in the city more meaningful. Anyway, that's just my opinion. In the end, I don't recommend this game. If you do want to try it, then I would say definitely wait for it to go on sale. This next game is called Malum. This game interested me because it described itself as a C-list horror game. It's focused more on like the fun rather than the serious horror. The description says, run from a motley collection of bizarre demons, then summon in some guns to turn the tables on them. Best enjoyed with friends. So I have Ploop and Ribko here.
You know what? Just go down, read the first 2 reviews. Very important.
Booba bunnies? This kid goes.
That's what really interests me in this game.
What is that one review that just says monkey?
Wait. Okay, so we're here in like a lobby. Ploop picked his character. He's the cutest character. He's the hunter. Ribko is the priest, who she says has the best drip. And
I kind of wanted the priest too,
drippy.
but
I kind of wanted to be the hunter, but I'm Kim.
I mean, you could unlock the furry if you really want to.
Okay, so basically in this game, we played the tutorial to figure out how the hell to play first. There is going to be a summoning circle, and there's going to be a demon enemy. There might be more than one, we don't know. But we have to avoid the demon while figuring out what symbols are on the wall, and that's going to tell us what items to put on the summoning circle, which will allow us to kill the demon.
you can also flash the demon with the batteries, spare batteries you have for your flashlight. It'll stun the demon, and these symbols on the wall correspond to a recipe in our notebook, and then we have to find 3 of them, and then there's only one recipe with those given 3, and then we have to put that in the summoning circle. Okay, I heard the demon.
Okay, I'm gonna go stop him. Ribko, you write down, because she has a pad in real life.
I wrote it down.
I hear
Or in front of
breathing.
you now. Oh, I'm
I hear
so
breathing.
Rain, where are you?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard to see.
It's so hard to see. It's a little annoying how hard it is to see.
I found a symbol.
Oh, I found a symbol too.
What is it?
The one that
What
looks
is
kind of
down
like a flag, like a triangle flag to the left.
Mine kind of looks
Oh
like the
my
pie
fucking
symbol.
God. Okay.
Oh yeah, his. No.
Rivko fucking is dead.
It's like a secret staircase.
Oh,
there's
are you
one
kidding me?
more- There's one more med kit, so perfect.
Okay, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so he's probably gonna come to us. Let's all gather
Are you guys
together.
ready?
Oh, we can all get a gun.
Yeah, we're all getting. Let's shoot.
This is the worst song I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know how, but yes. I'm trying to kill Ploop, I can't kill him.
What?
Oh my
I
God.
shot him in the head, I killed him.
Kill him, kill him. You can
Both
kill
of
me
us.
dead. Are we like demons canonically?
I guess we are.
I can't shoot the
Maybe my
demon, I can only
body
shoot
is
the
the
you
only
guys.
body.
Oh shit.
That's
All
what you
right.
get for killing both of us.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Oh God.
Okay,
Why
I'm
is
bringing the
there
egg
some
back.
sound?
Do we know? Oh wait, I found her.
Oh?
Oh, yeah, that's smart to bring the stuff you see back.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh shit. she's
Especially
gonna tell
since
us.
we can drop it.
She did some unspeakable acts to me.
Ube,
Nice.
ubeziste.
I don't have the patience to read this right now. Currently, I'm on one mission and one mission only.
Elektroshitovia.
That was good. Hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Here,
hi,
here.
hi.
Put your
our
stuff
friend
right
just
here.
got murdered.
I'm putting my book
Yeah,
down
set.
right next to that.
I'm putting it here too.
Okay, I found another object. I'm going to pick it up. Follow me. It's the gold, I think.
Did you
Wait,
guys
where are
find the summoning circle?
No.
Wait, where
Yeah,
are you?
that's
Oh, hi.
I don't really like that mechanic. Like I know they try to make it difficult, but like I feel like you should know where you should breathe.
Yeah, like make the
God.
objects more difficult
Dude just
because.
teleported.
Wait, what the fuck?
I just got murked.
On my screen, his zombie
Yeah,
like
he
little
teleported in and out of existence, and then
Yeah.
teleported
Wait, yeah, I
back.
see that too. Is that a glitch?
blinking. That definitely.
I think it might be a glitch.
Maybe that's just a
Either-
visual thing, but the actual buff guy is the enemy.
I like the idea of like making the enemy's main enemy in each level act a little differently, but I do not like the idea of like not knowing where you're supposed to be summoning.
Yeah,
the
like the
weapon.
first level was good because it was better in some sense because you started right next to
It's
the thing,
clear.
but you didn't have every item.
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes it difficult, but not in a good way. Because the difficulty comes from the fact that you can only hold one thing in your inventory. I like that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I thought that was good too.
Yeah, because then if you know where your summoning sigil
I
is.
died out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
I think
see
he
you.
just teleported behind you.
Alright, but this is a pretty cool game over screen.
Yeah. You can find your way there.
Never mind.
Oh, you're dead.
Yeah.
She can smell if you get closer.
She's a sniffer?
You're a sniffer.
Please
I
shut
mean,
this
that's
down.
one way to call it.
Let's shut this thing down.
We're shutting this down.
It's
I
shutting it
can't do-
down. Yes.
This was one of the worst games I've ever played.
Yeah, let's refund this.
Yes.
Alright, honestly, I've given this game way more time than it deserves via playing it and also cutting up the footage you just saw. So I can't take it anymore. I really do not want to write a script and think about this game any longer than I have to. So with me right now, I have Ploop and Ribko, and we're going to give our thoughts on the game in a short fashion. So I was kind of excited about this game because I thought it would be really entertaining and funny to play with friends, which it does seem to be. The thing is, it was a little bit too difficult in the wrong places, and it was a little janky. I didn't expect this to be a serious game and really scare me, but I did expect it to be fun and the gameplay loop to be a little bit higher quality.
There's such good ideas in this. None of it's really realized to its full potential. You're right on the fact that it's hard in the wrong places, and even then, it wouldn't feel as frustrating if there wasn't so many glitches. Also, where the fuck is the light?
That is probably my biggest complaint about the first area as well. It's way too dark. The thing is, like we're talking about the difficulty, it does make it more difficult the darker it is. But that's like almost an artificial difficulty. That's a difficulty that doesn't feel fair, that doesn't feel fun.
Exactly.
or creative.
Yeah, so I have similar sentiments. It was very similar to Phasmophobia in my opinion. It fell into that niche. I think Demonologist is a similar game. I honestly don't think the darkness, some of the jank was the reason why the game was so annoying to play. I feel like those are a big contributor, but I think the biggest reason is honestly the gameplay loop was just not fun. Also, a big point that we mentioned was how making the summoning sigil in a different place every time kind of like added another element that was not really desirable in the gameplay loop, having to find that summoning sigil before doing anything, which is kind of annoying. Other annoying points, but it just didn't come together well.
Okay, yes, good point. What he's talking about specifically is that the objects we need to collect need to be placed in a certain order, of course, on this summoning circle. The thing is, in all the other levels except the first one, the summoning circle was very difficult for us to find, so that was just a little frustrating. Anyway, earlier today, I was taking a more in-depth look at the Steam page, because before we play the games, I don't want to spoil myself too much, so I don't look too in-depth into the Steam page. But now, to close this section off, I want us to react to the second trailer video that this game has. And as it plays, you'll see why I wanted us to react to it.
Welcome to my manor. Welcome here
What?
anytime.
Why is she talking like that?
It makes me wonder if we played this level, would we hear this dialogue?
Just don't steal anything now. That's
This looks like a
very
worse
naughty.
version of the mansion from Resident Evil Village or whatever.
Hide and seek. There. It's all better now.
Aw, 10 out of 10.
Send more assholes.
Did you just say prepare your asshole or something?
She said send
I
more
really hope
assholes.
not.
Yeah, I remember reading that description.
Alright, anyway,
That's-
thanks guys. The Malum is over. That's it. This next game is called Data Dream. As you can tell, it has a weird aesthetic. It's a 3D platformer. It looks like it has some unique movement options. You could also see in the video here, there's some combat. I don't know, maybe there are bosses throughout the game. But the platforming looks really interesting to me, so I want to see if it's actually fun. I'm very curious about this game. It looks like, especially with the weird aesthetic as well, some things look like they don't match together. It also has the RPG tag. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe there's some skill progression or something like that. And it seems relatively unknown with only 4 user reviews, so I do like that about the game. For this game, I am again skipping the initial impressions bit. When starting a new game, you are shown this cutscene where someone falls asleep coding. This, along with the name of the game, heavily implies that the rest of the game takes place in a dream. Dream sequences can be problematic in stories, but I don't have a problem with this one. The game is direct and says to the player, this is a programmer's dream sequence, which does contextualize why the world and characters are all computer themed. The opening of the game has you chatting to some NPCs and going through a movement and combat tutorial. There are a few things that I want to discuss about the combat and movement, but for now, let's take a look at the cutscene that plays after this section, because honestly, it's the best part of the game. This is a lengthy cutscene. It's about 4 minutes, so I will comment over it just a little bit. By the way, you see this type of character throughout the game, and I don't know what computer component they're supposed to be representing. I'm still not sure on that. Here we see a tall statue, and we see this very vast area. I think that this developer does very good things with the cutscenes. It is a bad thing to say that my favorite thing here in this game is the cutscenes, but they are pretty good. Anyway, the combination of the shots here and probably the colors, but especially the music, creates a very peaceful scene here. I really like it. They did a very effective job at making a nice serene area.
Greetings, traveler. What brings you here in this fine cycle?
Now here, this isn't too creative, right? This isn't the most clever thing in the world, that we see a Trojan horse, obviously a type of computer virus, represented as an actual wooden statue. But I did kind of like it.
Gee, well, that sounds
And by the way, this voice acting reminds me, the game is fully voice acted, and the quality does range a lot. Some of it is okay, it's pretty good, and some of it is really not that good at all.
Alert. Threat discovered. Establish quarantine and neutralize subject.
The developer could have had this whole shot in focus at the same time, but they chose to focus on the background and then on the foreground. I thought that was really cool. That horse is moving a little strangely, but this is imposing, especially with the sound design here as well. Look at this, I think the developer really has a talent for either just any type of cutscene, or, as we can see here, horror. This is horrifying. And right here, nightmare fuel. Pure nightmare fuel. This was really nice because we saw the statue at the beginning of the cutscene. That's a very simple thing, but it's not like the statue's coming out of nowhere. That's really nice. And now we get to see its purpose. It's kind of like the personification of an antivirus type of thing. So we've seen so far a peaceful scene, then we see something more horrific, and now this is kind of action. So yeah, I have to give the developer credit here. Unfortunately, like I've been saying, this is like the high point of the game, and that's just really disappointing. Alright, now on to discussing the actual gameplay. The movement is not terrible. Of course you have the usual running and jumping, but if you hold down the jump button while in midair, then you'll glide. Also you can sidestep to the left or right, and also hold down a button in order to be in this particle mode where your speed is increased. The thing is that the movement by itself doesn't feel fun. To the developer's credit, I'm sure that making the movement on its own fun is not simple or easy, but it goes without saying that the best 3D platformers managed to pull this off. Additionally, I want to point out that the level design, music, or art design could have softened the blow of this issue. Imagine for a second that the level design was tight and satisfying, or if the music was thought-provoking and yet atmospheric, or if the visuals were fascinating and strange. The movement would probably feel at least a little better, since the player would be engaged by other aspects of the game while moving. Unfortunately, as it is now, the level design feels bloated, with distances between things being too large, the music is nothing special, and the visuals are okay but uninteresting. The combat is worse than the movement, but still has some good facets. For example, the number of hits you can take before dying is shown through visible changes to the character model, instead of UI like a health bar. I thought that was a nice touch. One more good thing is that changing into particle mode can damage nearby enemies. Bumping into them doesn't, but this little blast does. I like that this is an interaction between the movement system and combat system, which could add some depth to the gameplay. Anyway, your main way of attacking is this move. Fighting regular enemies is fine, but I really did not enjoy fighting the first boss. The mini gameplay loop here is to hit the boss, which will cause him to glow and become more angry, I guess, I don't know. Bait him into attacking this tree, then repeat the process once he stops glowing. Once he hits it enough times, it'll fall onto him and kill him. I think that cyclical boss design like this can work, but here it does not feel good to be forced to wait around for the boss to do most of the important actions in this fight. Other issues here are that simply touching the boss damages you, and the hitboxes are not that good, so getting hit can often feel unfair. One issue with the controls this boss made me notice is that the camera always turns with you as you change direction. This harmed my experience because I was trying to keep my eyes on the boss while retreating from it, but often couldn't, which means I was frequently getting hit from attacks that were coming from off screen. There doesn't need to be a lock-on system or anything like that to fix this. I simply should have been able to rotate the camera totally independently of my character's movement. This section has been pretty negative, so let me compliment something. I don't like many of the character designs, but I do think that Ram is pretty cool. He has an imposing stature and can move very quickly. Also, GFX and audio are literal drivers with cards, so I appreciated that. There are more things I could discuss or critique, but I think I've said enough here. It should be obvious that I did not like this game and would certainly not recommend it.
I'm audio. You want crispy clear beats? You come to me.
This game is called The Day Before You Gone, but it's originally a Russian game, so that name is translated. So the original name is Dien Kotori Zabral Tibia. That's my best pronunciation. I would just guess, since you could tell that the English grammar is wrong in the title, I would just guess a closer translation is something like The Day Before You Left, or The Day You Left, something like that. Anyway though, it has no reviews of course because it's not out yet. We will be playing the demo that's available. Now I do want to say one thing that interests me here of course is the art style. I think it's pretty good. I didn't read all of this because I don't want to get spoiled too much, but just from skimming it, you can see there's some interesting things like a karma system, there's quick time events and mini games, so I don't know, the execution could be good, the execution could be bad. I am pretty interested to see how this one comes out. Alright, so this is the main menu. I just thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to show you. If you hover over things, that'll be a nice sound effect, a nice little visual change, so that's pretty cool. I looked at the options already, which is this knife. Let's take a look. I guess universe would be like lore. Oh, achievements, okay. And yeah, when you want to go back, it's actually pretty interesting. They give you like a almost in-universe phrase, I guess, like tie the bag. And then if you go into options, the back button is hide the knife. So that is interesting.
Я здесь. Ты слышишь меня?
I like that even though I selected the English option, they kept in the Russian voice acting. That's pretty cool. Much better than it being silent.
Тебе может показаться это странным, но теперь мы связаны. И только ты можешь повлиять на мой путь. Когда жизнь подбрасывала мне новые попытки все исправить, я тратила их впустую. Но теперь все изменилось. У меня есть ты. Я верю тебе. Верю, что ты спасешь нас обоих. Расскажи о себе. Я хочу знать, кому доверяю свою судьбу.
I don't know. I think we play as a female character. We'll just be Katya, I guess. I don't know. Oh, I'm a girl. Okay, here we go.
Юная леди, так даже лучше. Ты поймешь, что я чувствовала. Уверена, поймешь. Хочешь знать, с чего все началось? Аскрид сидела передо мной, но мы сидели молча.
Okay, the writing seems pretty good. I saw some things that were like a little awkward sounding, but the writing in-game seems pretty good, so I wonder why the game title itself sounds a little awkward. Alright, so hold on, I'm going to give you a quick recap, because I'm not going to include all the text because it'll just be a lot of time of reading for you guys. So basically the narrator was saying, this lady here, the teacher, is a witch, but they found out through cultivating the narrator's magic that she's more of a mage, which I guess that just means they practice different types of magic, or they're aligned with different types of magic, whatever. There's an interesting dichotomy here where this witch always wanted to have mage magic, which is controlling the elements, and then the narrator always wanted to be proficient like the witch was in witchery, I guess. So I guess we'll confront her, I guess. I don't know. Both are kind of confronting, but... Karma changed.
Она
Oh.
молчала, а я оправдывала себя. Я знала, что после сегодняшнего дня она не простит меня. Никогда. Какой выбор я бы не сделала. Это был переломный момент. Но на самом деле все началось задолго до знакомства с Аскрид. В тот самый день, который забрал его.
There was a title drop right at the beginning, okay. Alright, Nicole. Who's hiding there? I guess the whole thing is not voice acted. Anyway, Johan says, "Who's that? Who?" I'm the evil furry orc. Wait, whoa. I think the writing just dropped in quality. What the hell is this? You're lying. Orcs are not furry. I got you figured out. Okay, so they're just messing around.
Йохану 7 лет.
Mom, I got it. Be careful. Count the change. Fill the bottles to the brim. That's not what I mean. What's wrong? I have a bad feeling about this. Don't stay out too late tonight. It's alright. Don't worry. Alda's already waiting. 2 years earlier.
Я познакомилась с Андрианом, когда мне было 14.
I would wager then that Nicole, she's who we're playing as right now, like we just made a couple choices. We're making Nicole's choices. And I guess the narrator is Nicole. That's just a guess, but that would make the most sense. So now, this is kind of strange. I didn't have any problems with the opening there, but the narrator is telling us her story, and she starts with that little scene with Johan and the family, but now we're jumping back even further in time, I guess, to introduce this guy, Adrian. I don't know if that was, the flashback. I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's the right time, but let's see. I met Adrian when I was 14, okay?
На семейном собрании было решено, что я уже стала достаточно взрослой и смогу торговать сама.
Alright, there's some confirmation right there. Our name's Nicole. Smile with all her teeth. Make a disgruntled grimace. We'll be nice, I guess. Or should we be mean? Nah, okay, let's be nice. That was not a karmic choice? Damn. My son is going to serve the Emperor. And what a handsome man I have. Girls, you should have seen it. Listen, and after you moved to Pascoon, we had little contact. Coin denomination. Wait a minute. What happened? That customer who just walked away from our counter paid for 2 bottles of milk, but I didn't have time to give him his change. Cassandra distracted me. There you go, it's all my fault again. Nicole, you have to catch up with him and give him back his change. What a day. First time I come to learn the trade, and then, lo and behold, I have to run after some inattentive fat guy. Okay. Okay, we'll pocket it.
Я уже добежала до центральной статуи посередине рынка, как вдруг столкнулась с прохожим и немного опешила. Это был парень, который, видимо, тоже куда-то спешил и не заметил меня.
Sorry, I'm in a big hurry. Watch where you're going. I will be nice. Adrian, be careful. It's easy to lose your pants that way. What? Actually, I have a skirt. I'm sure this sounds better in Russian, but that was pretty funny. And I don't have time to talk to strangers. Wait a minute. I've been running after you since the wait, why did we switch to this book mode? Baby, what's wrong? You forgot the change for the milk. Crush me, orc. Where is it? Pockets are empty. Coins must have fallen out. Oh, I should have kept it in my fist because that guy pickpocketed me. That's actually pretty cool. I wonder if that actually did have the consequence that I think it did. I don't know. It's kind of weird because there's certain character interactions where there's like a random shopkeeper or the mother's friend, Cassandra, and like it just shows their name and it's the usual background and text box. But then at other times where they want to show you someone new, I guess, or just certain people in particular, they'll have this and then they'll have a drawing of the interaction. I think they probably should have just kept it one way, like just have those little portraits. Like there was a portrait of Adrian, the mother, and the father, stuff like that. I think they should have kept it to that style. We'll see if this book has any more relevance, but otherwise it's just like a transition for no reason, I think. Right here, Nicole seems to be narrating to us, much like the narrator does, but it's in the dialogue box, so it's not made clear that she's actually not speaking out loud. This demo leaves me with mixed feelings. On one hand, many of the individual components of this game are high quality, like the narration, music, and art. But on the other hand, the choices you make seem meaningless, the story's pacing is all over the place, and there's a massive info dump at the end. Let's compare what we've seen in this demo to the information on the Steam page. Starting with the short description, a narrative adventure that breaks stereotypes. This is an intriguing statement to make about your game. I want to play a game that breaks stereotypes, but we didn't see anything like that in this demo. In fact, there were actually a few cliches, like this scene where the main character is about to confess her feelings to the love interest, but then they get interrupted. A psychological experiment that confronts the struggles of one. This sounds pretty dramatic. I'm guessing that this is kind of saying that the game is going to be more of a character study type narrative, rather than focusing on many characters, but we would need the context of the entire game in order to judge this one. So for now, the game gets a pass on this. The story of a girl with magical powers who has lost her sweetheart. Will she have a chance to turn back time? It's up to you. Okay, the rest of that isn't bad. Now let's move on to the About section. Feel the magic in you. That definitely is an awkward sounding heading. Medieval fantasy, a time full of magic and danger at every turn. The main character, Nicole, discovers her magical abilities and also falls madly in love with a simple guy from the neighboring town. So far so good. We did see this in the demo, but I do want to point out here that this is nothing groundbreaking, which the short description of the game kind of implies that it is. When a natural cataclysm divides the Empire into two parts, animosity between people begins, and the heroes find themselves on opposite sides. So this cataclysm and the division of the Empire is what the info dump at the end of the demo was telling us about. I feel like the full game should give you information about that stuff in a more digestible manner, maybe a little info at a time, hinted at through dialogue, or maybe just an optional reading in the form of the lore entries that are already in the game. Anyway, this is not a bad premise, but once again, not too original. The split in the universe echoes the split in Nicole's heart. She realizes that she will never see her sweetheart again, or will she have a chance to turn back time after all? Should she chase her feelings first, sacrificing the fate of her loved ones, or accept her fate? This part seems fine. Immerse yourself in our world. The karma system allows you to accumulate or decrease the parameter depending on the player's moral choices, leading to different endings. Okay, I did want to point out in this section how the karma system seemed to have no effect on anything in the demo. There is no visual indication to even show which direction your karma is building. In other words, good and bad choices both fill the meter with red liquid. Beyond that, all the choices I've seen here have no lasting effects. 1 or 2 lines of dialogue might be different, but after that the story continues in the same way no matter what choices you make. This does kind of explain that. It seems that this game will be linear until the very end, where the story will branch into different endings based on your karma alone. Psychological questioning puts you against yourself, forcing you to give honest answers and share events from your past. I guess that means there's going to be more quiz sections? I don't know. This is another thing that sounds too dramatic for what it actually is in the game. Take a step towards your destiny. An unusual visual style divided into 2 semantic parts. I did like the visuals, but I'm not sure what semantic parts are. I'm guessing that's just a shaky translation. My best guess for what this is referring to is that most of the game is in this format of scenic backgrounds with character portraits popping up once in a while, and other parts use this open book background. I don't like the book sections of the game. I think they're used when the developers want to show actions or movement being done, but they feel out of place to me. The karma system and its effect on endings. It's sad that the endings will be the only thing impacted by the system. The demolition of the fourth wall. This is not necessarily an issue, but it is hard to pull this type of thing off effectively. Plot twist on opportunities to play with time. It's probably not the best idea to spoil your plot twist in the About section of the game, but alright. Quick time events. Wait a sec. What? I just noticed this. Quick time events. Alright. And minigames. I actually don't think this is a bad inclusion in this type of game. The minigames here are simple, but I think that they are more engaging than just reading the text about actions or events. In this way, they remind me of when you need to hold down or mash triangle in The Last of Us in order to open doors or gates in that game. Yes, those are not challenging or complex moments, but they are more engaging than an alternative where you just lose control of the character and need to wait for them to do a lengthy animation. But with that said, I still do have some issues with this. You can fail one of the minigames in the demo, and that just leads to an alternate line of dialogue, but again, no real lasting change. And also, at the end, there's another minigame, and you just can't fail this one. If you just wait, nothing will happen. In-game bonuses, in-game achievements, a map, a description of the universe. Most of that is standard. You might expect in-game bonuses to be something like unlockable concept art or something like that. Hidden treasures in Russia and the coordinates inside the game leading to them. Wow, so there could be a little ARG thing going on with this game. That's surprising. Russian voice acting? Yeah, the voice acting was good. Exclusive soundtrack from the Russian singer. The soundtrack fits well with the tone and setting, so good job on that. To wrap this up, I think this game does have a certain amount of charm. I don't think the full release is very likely to be a good game, but I do think it will be interesting. I'd recommend giving this demo a shot if you like visual novel style games. It should take you about 30 minutes to play through. So in this video, we took a look at 6 Steam games that you probably never heard about. None of these were really very enjoyable for me, so playing through them was a bit of a pain. With that in mind, I am not going to rank them like I did at the end of the last video. If you like this video and want to see more follow-ups in this series, then let me know. And if you want, feel free to criticize anything you think could be improved in this type of format. I personally think the selection of games from the previous video was more interesting because I actually liked some of those games. But do tell me if you thought these ones were interesting to hear about. By the way, I have a Discord server. The link to that and other relevant things are in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.